Built for builders, from beginners to pros, this is where great backyards begin. Welcome to the Ultimate Deck Podcast, your source for backyard building tips, product breakdowns, and pro advice from the front lines of the industry. Here are your hosts, Shane Chapman and Wade Laurent.
It's Wade and Shane, the Halloween edition of the Ultimate Deck Podcast. Welcome back, everybody.
I think we should always do them on Halloween.
Right? That's
way
fun.
More fun.
Anywho, it's October 31st when we're recording this anyway. I don't care when you're listening to it. It's the season of Halloween. So happy Halloween, everybody. Are you going to the mall today, Miss Lippy? Are you dressing up tonight?
No, I don't think I'm going to dress up.
Okay.
I was thinking about that this morning, actually. I woke up and was just like I quite like Halloween. But when it's just you...
Are you handing out Are you doing the candy thing at all? Are you even doing that? Or you're just shutting her, just like ball games on?
It's hard to get into it.
World's turned off.
Yeah. When you're like, yeah. Like, I really liked Halloween as a kid. It was one of my, I think it was my favorite holiday.
Do you remember?
It's not even a holiday.
What your favorite costume was as a child? Or not? Like any costume ever that you dressed up as, even in like college or something. Do you remember any? Any of your best?
Like, I think I've been Dracula for like 30 years. I really like Dracula.
Dracula's the one, hey?
It's just every time I try to find something else. Oh, I did one last year that was really funny. I thought that was really good. I dressed up as Peter Pumpkin Eater, and Rhonda went as a pumpkin.
Oh, yeah, right.
I thought that was really funny. I thought that was a super funny one.
Yeah.
But classic. But almost always Dracula.
I don't remember a lot of my childhood ones, but I think that my favorite one was probably when I worked at SaskTel. We would dress up because we were the marketing department, super creative bunch.
Yeah.
And we made Minion costumes one year.
Oh,
me and a couple.
Man,
I can't remember if it was everybody, if it was just me and one other guy, but we made our own. Like, we went and bought cardboard. And we made the whole things and pie plates for the eye, right from scratch.
So good.
And it was fantastic. And everybody's like, that is incredible.
Did you get someone to go as Gru?
I don't think we had a Gru, no. And then not years later, probably the next year or something like that, I then did it for he's 18 now. He would have been, I don't know what at that time, 10 or something like that. He wanted to be one of the evil purple minions. And I was like, oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can build that. It doesn't matter if we can find one because I can make one. So we did it again. We made him one.
Super fun.
I haven't dressed up for years, but every year when we take the kids out in the middle of going, I always think, I should have dressed up.
Yeah.
Why don't I think to dress up? And so this year we went out shopping for their costumes and we just ended up at the typical places, Spirit Halloween and Party City and all these places. And at Party City, I happened to find a Captain Jack Sparrow outfit that was normally $70, and they were clearing it out for $10. And it had everything
all day long.
It has the wig and the shirt and the pants and the scarves and the bandana. And
you should have worn that to work today.
Dreads and a complete suit for $10. And I was like, oh, done. Even at $70, I was like, that's a pretty complete outfit for $70.
Because you can wear it. You wear it next year.
Forever.
Nobody cares.
And the other good tie into that, the reason it was even better is because we just got back from Disneyland at the end of August and the kids saw Captain Jack Sparrow there. So there's little barges or little flat ferries that go across the water over to Tom Sawyer's Island.
Okay.
And we went on it and it just so happened, he's not always on there, it just so happened the time we went, the character Jack Sparrow was on that barge. And so the kids got to hang out and talk with Captain Jack Sparrow. And they rode the Pirates of the Caribbean ride we did that ride 10 times while we were down there. And so it was relevant to that too. I was like, oh, this is perfect. $10, done. Complete costume, done. No effort, done. And currently relevant in our family because we just got back. Done.
You're going to wear that 3 or 4 times.
This week.
You'll be sub $3 a wear.
Oh, totally.
Cost
this
per
will
wear.
Be over year over year over
You'll
year.
be down to $1.
Yeah,
by the time that thing.
So I am dressing up this year. So that'll
be fun.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I always feel like I should go get candy, but that would mean I have to do that this afternoon. I have not done it.
So go do that this afternoon. I'm leaving at 12. I'm going to go watch my kids.
I want to go hunting.
Every year they do like a parade of their costumes and stuff at school.
Yeah,
That's today at 12:30. So I'm going to go do that. And I'm just sitting here thinking like I should leave earlier and go dress up.
Yes, you should. Yep.
I got to go put some eyeliner on.
Try and get
you have to put eyeliner on.
Wooden leg.
Captain Jack Sparrow's got all of his limbs.
I was talking to Megan this morning. She told me that I should get a little thumb cap and put it on, and then I could go to work as a whole human today. She was like, you don't have to do much. Just get like a thumb cap, and then you could go as like what you used to be. So I was like, that's really funny, actually.
We were doing inventory on Saturday. Speaking of thumb jokes, we were doing inventory on Saturday, and we had one. I was helping out, and Jordan, one of our guys, was pre-counting ahead of me, and then just like sticky noting the things. And so I got to this one thing, and it was like it was like railing posts, Vista white railing posts, and he had marked on there 4, and I could see clearly there was 5. And so he was on to the next thing, and I was like, Jordan, did you count these or did Wade? He's like, and he thought I was said it seriously. He's like, no, I did, because you weren't even here.
Yeah,
you were in Saskatoon.
I was in Saskatoon. Yeah.
And he's like, no, I did. And I was like, oh, strange. Do you have all your thumbs? He's like, yeah, I almost lost one when I was 12. And I was like, oh, and he tells you a story about his thumb. He's like, yeah, but why? And I was like, well, because there's clearly 5 posts here and you just wrote 4. So I thought maybe you were just missing a digit.
Yeah, there's a whole handful.
Oh,
there's a handful of posts
sorry,
here.
my bad. I just ripped them.
That's funny.
Yeah. So in the spirit of Halloween, we are talking about some horror stories, the scariest things that homeowners do when they're building a DIY deck. Some of the things that they do that you're like, oh boy, that's not good.
Okay,
that's scary.
I have one quick story about this. What's the scariest homeowner one you have heard of? Where a homeowner built a deck and you were just like, oh boy, that's not going to work.
Oh, on the spot, I don't know.
So I'll tell mine.
Like, sure,
and you can like think
if you have one, go ahead.
Do you remember when we were on Dudney Avenue and that guy came in and he told us he was going to build his whole front landing and stair stringers out of sheets of plywood?
Yeah.
And he was just going to take 3/4 inch plywood and that was going to be his joist and his stair stringer all in one.
I think we were on McCare at that time, weren't we?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
but it was like,
I remember that.
And he was like, I'm serious. I really think this is going to work. And I was like, are you going to laminate them? Are you going to do 2? Because then at least you're 1.5 inches thick. And he was like, no, I don't think so. 12 inch on center, 3/4 inch plywood. I'm going to cut it so that it's 10-inch strips, and then I'm going to roll it right into the stairs. Yeah. Cut the stringer out of it. Yeah. And I was like, I don't think that's going to hold. I don't think that's going to be strong. And he was like, well, I didn't come here to discuss how I'm going to build it. I came here to get composite. And I was like, sounds good. What would you like?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, my like outside of the typical things that we're going to discuss here because they're common that you do, outside of that, I don't know. But the one to add a story to that, and it wasn't a homeowner, but it's still a scary story. Do you remember a couple of years later, the lady that came back because she had just bought some wolf rosewood decking from us?
Yes.
And she came, bought the materials. She's like, I got my own contractor. He's going to do it. And we're like, sounds good. And then she came back like, I don't know, it was months. It was like 3, 4, 6 months later at most, like same season.
Yep.
And she brought back a piece of the decking. She's like, I need you guys to give me some more of this. And we're like, oh, okay. How many more do you need? She's like, all of them. Like at the same amount. We need to replace them all. And like you guys, and I believe she thought we should just give them to her.
She wanted it.
Or a huge discount.
She wanted a huge discount.
Because her quotations contractor stapled it all down.
Face stapled
with a crown stapler.
1.5 inch crown stapler. And they all pulled out. Because it was only a half inch of embedment.
Yeah. At most. 1.25 inches. Like there was hardly any staple poking out the back. So we should, and then like Wolf has a pretty like brittle cap on it. That ASA cap is like, so you're shooting I don't have to explain to you why this is
over. That's enough. Crown staple.
Obviously 1/4 inches of staples sticking out the back, non-galvanized even, non-stainless even. Into like they just all popped off, and it's like they shot a staple through the cap, kind of breaks the cap where the staple goes because it's a bloody staple.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're like, listen, well, I think we probably did help her a little bit.
I think we probably gave her like 10 or 15%
but it was like,
off.
That's ballsy for you to walk in here and expect us to pay for this mistake. You could have done this correctly.
God, that was so funny. I felt so bad for her too, but
yeah,
not bad enough. I was going to give her the decking.
Some people just need to learn.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here's some more. these are pretty common things, and they're safety issues, unfortunately, which is the biggest issue. But we'll get started here. We got 5 things we're going to talk about. Number 1, the phantom footing. So how often do you see pictures posted on Facebook groups where people are like, my deck is sinking here, and it's like, I don't know what the problem is, and you look and it's like, I am fairly certain there's no pile under that at all. Like, you just have wood sitting on the ground, and now your deck is sinking because you just have a wood post sitting in dirt.
Yep.
Compressing or rotting or something, but that's not right.
Yeah. And so this can happen a lot in our area where you do just a slab on grade.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
But it's just like, what I don't like to see is when people put slab on grade and then have zero anticipation of adjustment later on. It's like, well, that's going to move.
Right. You have to plan.
Just know that it's going to move and then plan for that.
Yeah, because some places are okay. Like the local building departments are okay with you using, like, you don't have to necessarily do this 4-foot deep pile or 12-foot deep pile or 1 foot, wherever you are. They're okay with a surface application. In some cases, it's like as long as it's not attached to your house, or there's parameters as long as it's not over 2 feet tall, as long as it's not over 6 feet tall. There's like different rules or whatever.
Yep.
They can be okay with it. Funny thing is, it's very common here. And for the most part, it depends on the area now. It used to be pretty commonly accepted for decks under 6 feet tall. You could still use those grade blocks, slabs. Now it's starting to shift towards the 2 foot mark. Some markets are still 6, many more are 2 now. But it's still allowed. But it's funny, if some of those will get posted on Facebook groups, like pictures of that application, and people are like, that's absolutely not strong enough. That concrete slab will break in half. That's not thick enough to bear the weight. And I'm always caught, because I was like, I don't want to defend it too harshly because it's not a great way to do it. But I can also confirm they don't break. Like, I've seen thousands of decks build these things, and the slabs don't break. The 2-inch slab turns out it is actually strong.
And you just think about the surface area that deck is sitting on.
Yeah.
Right? That's like 16 inches by 16 inches. That's way bigger than a pile. That's way bigger than the pile you put in the ground.
Yeah, I think their concern is like, so you're point loading the 4x4, 6x6 posts onto a small 16 square inch on the middle of that slab, and the slab itself can just crack in half, which I totally agree. It absolutely could, but I'm here to tell you it doesn't. It sure could have been have enough of them or whatever, but I've never seen them break in that application. But there's no rebar in it. There's no fiberglass weave in it. There's nothing structural in the slab.
I think there's like fiberglass mat.
There very well could be fiberglass, like
just
filled
ripped
in
up fiberglass in there, right?
Yeah.
I think if somebody really pushed me on it and they were like, this needs to be really, really strong and it has to be on grade and it has to be adjustable, I would do slab and then deck block. Because then you go from 16 to 11 to 4.
Dissipating the weight gradually.
Yeah.
Goes down. Anyway, but so that might be okay, but random pavers, sometimes you'll see people just pull like a little 4x8 Holland paver or something out of their.
I just need to make
so that what they got.
Just so my 4x4 doesn't touch the dirt, and they put just a block of wood.
Yeah. Or the cottage blocks straight in the dirt, and then that's not spraying the weight enough. I've seen some decks before. I actually went and fixed a buddy's deck, or a guy I used to work with deck years and years ago. He's like, I think I need something where you come over and look at my deck, because it's like some of the posts aren't attached anymore. I was like, what do you mean? And so I go out there and I can't remember the size of it, but it must have been out, like maybe it was 16 feet deep or something, because it had a mid-span beam. It had like 2 beams, and the middle beam was just like hanging out underneath, and the posts had, like, a couple of them had fallen over because those footings had sunk.
Yep.
But the outer beam was still holding the deck up, so the footings in the middle were just like, all the posts are falling over. It's like there's no adjustment on them again.
Right.
Cottage blocks sitting on dirt, but no adjusters on them or anything.
Probably because they had built that deck when they built the house, and then the ground closer to the house settled.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But
so anyway, you just need to make sure that you either do a proper full depth pile, especially if it's a larger job or it's, it's higher or supporting a roof structure or whatever. Sometimes you're going to have to do it. And if you're going to do the surface block way, do it properly. Understand that you need to now maintain this deck, because it will have movement through frosting, heaving, or settling.
Yep.
It's going to happen. So,
and again, that's not the worst thing in the whole world. I've talked about this lots with people in the store, that everybody has this idea that you don't want your deck to move or shift or do anything like that. And that comes from not wanting your house to move. But if your house moves, then your doors don't open, and your tolerance inside your house is 1/8 of an inch. If the house moves 1/8 of an inch, a door doesn't work.
Yeah.
What on a deck, if it drops 1/2 an inch, nothing changes.
Yeah.
When it drops 1 inch, then you're like, oh, now I walk funny on this deck. It's but you can move that back up and it works fine. So.
That's right. Yeah. Number 2, the joist space jigsaw.
Oh yeah.
So I'd say most homeowners and DIY are fairly open to doing it right the first time on a brand new build. Where this pops up more often than not is when they're replacing deck boards on an existing deck, and then there's sometimes some resistance on what they need to do to bring this up to what composite decking might require.
Unless you get the guy that's like, I always over-engineer everything.
Yeah, sure you do.
Yeah.
A somewhat common scenario can be if somebody's original deck was built with 2x6 decking and they framed it on 24 inches on center because that was okay at the time for 2x6.
Still is okay.
Still is okay, but more common before. So you see the scenario and they just want to replace that and put composite decking on it. Like, we're just going to pop these boards off and put composite decking on. We're like, oh, okay, what do you framed at? And it's like, they often don't know the answer to that question, but sometimes the answer is, well, it's 24 inches on center. I'm just going to put composite on top. It's like, you can't do that. You got to add joists in between. You can't. Like, composite decking is 16 inches on center max for most, like 95% of the decking that's out there. It's 16 max.
And even the ones that say they're 24, I don't know that I would, right? Like, we got a few product lines that we carry that say you can go to 24 on center, but I just wouldn't do that. I just wouldn't recommend it.
But if you are insisting you are not going to add framing, then sure, shop for the boards that at least will give you a warranty at 24 inches on center.
Right.
And you're limited on those.
There's only about 3 of them.
I think you can do, it's typically, it seems to be the ones that have the fiberglass sheet in them.
Right.
So like a Wear Deck or Everlast, Apex Plus or Pioneer.
Yep.
There's a few out there, some of like the AZEK Max boards that are 2 inch thick. So you can get 1.5 thick composite decking or PVC composite decking. So that can work as well. The tricky one is when people have, because I would say that most of the time when people have 24 inches on center, they're okay with adding another joist because they're like, oh, then I'm at 12. Then I'm like, that's okay.
Yeah.
But sometimes when people have 16 inches on center and they're doing PVC or they want the new decking to be diagonal and you're like, well, now you need to add joists. And they're like, it's crazy. I'm not going 8 inches on center. I'm not going to add more joists.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you need to. You should.
You can't do 16.
You can't.
So either tear it all apart and reframe the whole thing to 12.
Do that.
Or add for 8.
Yeah.
But it's like, you're better to tear it all apart and frame
100%.
at 12.
I don't love adding brand new framing in mixed with 20-year-old framing for a few reasons. It's like it'll be different dimensions, can promise you. The stuff that's there is dried out and stable, and stuff that you're putting on, I shouldn't say stable. It's dried out. It can still swell and whatever, but it's more stable than the new stuff that's going to go in.
Certainly.
Like you can try to install them so everything's flat today, and as soon as that new stuff dries out, it's wavy.
Gonna pull it down, right? It's going to pull those deck boards down, and it will be wavy.
Yeah. And what are we talking about here? You're trying to save a few $100.
Yeah, $300 tops
in decking or in joists. It's always a tough one. You want to save the beams because they're in great shape, fine. But I think all the joists should be the same material. You want to cut up your existing joists and use them for blocking and other things, fine. But mixing old and new joists is not a good practice, I don't think.
I would avoid that.
So make sure your spacing is correct. Follow the instructions because if you don't, you're not going to have a warranty, and you're going to have not a great customer or like a user experience. Like your boards are going to be bouncy potentially. They're going to be potentially creaky. They're going to have waviness to them. Like you're just not going to love it. And in the end, you're going to be like in a couple of years' time when it's all bouncy and people are complaining about it and your deck's pooling water because it's got low spots all over the place. Are you going to really be like, yeah, but at least I saved the $300 4 years ago though?
That's what I would say.
Hey, what did you do with that $300? Like,
no idea. Didn't invest in day trading, that's for sure.
Yeah. Segment 3, number 3, point number 3, the screws from the crypt. So here's the thing. You want to hear a funny story about both our dads?
Yep.
We're from the same small town, so our dads know each other. And your dad used to own the lumberyard down there. My dad built his deck down there.
Yep.
And bought the stuff from your dad's lumberyard. And so years ago what was he doing? Oh, I think it was when he was about to he was going to strip off all the old stain and switch to Q-Tech was what was happening. Anyways, years and years ago, he was trying to replace some boards or something like that because it's ground level and he had used a stain that was like paint essentially. And it was all flaking off and probably causing boards to rot because it's ground level. So anyways, he was going to replace some boards, and he was complaining because he's like, all the screws were snapping when he was trying to take them off. And then when I was down there, I was like, well, you got all, like, they're all gold construction screws. Why would you, like, my dad he's always been savvy construction wise growing up. He never passed along to me. I wasn't interested in it, but he himself was mechanically inclined and construction inclined. But he used all interior gold screws for it, and then was like, well, they're all broken now. They're all rusted out. And I was like, well, yeah, because they're not for this. Why would you use that? Yeah. Well, that's what they gave me at Harry's Lumberyard. It probably wasn't your dad, but
it might have been.
Yeah, it could have been. Who knows? But that's what they gave me. So, and it was like, well, that's the wrong fastener. So you should have used the coated ones, because then you could have at least been like, I used the right ones and they still rusted.
Right. Because they do, as you bomb them in, that rubs all that coating off and they just
but at least you tried harder. Yeah. Anyway, mixing and matching.
It might have been green. That's probably been the problem. Your dad was trying to do brown deck boards, and the screws that my dad would have had would have been green.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Like, well, that's wrong.
Yeah. Fastener type is an issue on DIY decks especially, and for a multitude of reasons. The type of metal of the fastener they're using, the type of fastener they're using in the different applications. So we've talked lots about this over the years. People using regular deck screws and hangers, for example, or drywall screws and hangers, or flooring screws and hangers. Basically anything but with the, like,
literally
for some reason,
anything else.
They're just like, nope,
I'm not using that screw.
I'm not trusting Big Pharma, big fastener here. You're not going to make me use the right fastener.
Use my own fasteners.
I'll use whatever's in my shed. Thank you very much.
Needs to be 1.25 inches. Sounds like a coarse thread drywall.
I might just staple these bloody hangers on. I got this crown stapler. Super. It's a journeyman tool. You can use it for anything.
What is that? Oh, man. I forget where it is. It's like stapled the deck on, wrapped it up, job well done, got paid, moved on. Yeah. Right? It's like same with your hangers. It's like face stapled them on, bombed some drywall screws into them, got paid, moved on.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's a common area, is like in your structural connectors, your joist hangers, your hurricane ties, your post to beam connectors, all that crap is supposed to have a fastener that can handle the loads that are applied to that connection. And regular deck screws or drywall screws are not. They're not meant for that purpose. They're not treated and heated and engineered for doing that kind of work. And they can. And
you know what size of tire you should have in your truck? Is it 275, 18? What, right? 275, 65, 18. That's what you should. And it's like, well, that's not what I have in my shed. I got a 230, 12, 12. That's what I have. I'm using that.
Because big tire.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, you would never do that. Yeah. It's like, your vehicle should run on pure unleaded fuel. It's like, well, but I got mixed fuel in my garage. That's what I'm using.
Yeah.
What? It's so silly. Like, just get the right fastener. It's not. You're not.
It's not really. Yeah, there's
what are you saving?
There's no decision to make in this scenario.
Yeah.
It's not like, should I or shouldn't I? It's like, no, just use what you're supposed to use. It doesn't matter if you have alternatives. They're not alternatives. Just because they look like a screw and drive like a screw doesn't mean they're the right screw.
I blame gluten-free cooking.
Sure.
It goes way back to then, because it used to be like you could just bake stuff with normal flour, but now you have to have rice flour or bamboo husk flour.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm not sure what the parallel is, but yeah.
Well, it was just like people were subbing things in. They're like, oh, I'll just put in whatever.
Yeah.
It'll be close enough. It'll taste fine.
Yeah.
Zucchini. When you used to get chocolate muffins and there were zucchini muffins, it's like, don't do that.
You know what, though?
They're supposed to be brown sugar.
You never really tell.
You can tell.
You know what? Here's an argument to go on a tangent. As far as putting zucchini in stuff.
These people don't care about the screws anyway.
Or anything. Yeah, right. When you're kids and you don't like something and your parents are like, just eat it, you can't taste it anyway.
Yeah.
Then why put it on there? That was always my argument as a kid. It's like, you eat the pizza, they're like, oh, there's onions on here, I want the onions. They're like, you can't taste it anyway. Then what the was the point in putting them on there?
You can't taste
just because?
Yep.
Right. You can taste them. And if you can't, why do it? You're wasting the onions, wasting money. Anyway.
Was there a food that you ever had to
olives?
Eat, that you had to sit and eat? You had to sit and eat it? What's the one meal that you couldn't eat, but they would make you sit there?
Oh, boy. I don't know if I remember that far back that they would make me sit through a meal. Sure, certainly it happened. But the one I remember I couldn't do for a while, and this is so super weird, and it was even as an adult, like maybe like mid-20s or something, and it was some, I think maybe I was working at Sasta or something. We did some sort of barbecue in the park or whatever, and we had hot dogs. And I don't know if I was sick at the time, like if I was like not feeling well or something, but we had hot dogs out there and the buns were super dry. And for some reason, I don't know if I got sick after eating the hot dog. Some reason my body was like, there's a correlation here and you don't like hot dogs anymore. And I was like, that's devastating. Hot dogs are delicious.
They're the best food.
And so there was a few years where the thought of eating a hot dog in a bun just like, it ruined it for me.
That's terrible.
So nobody made me sit through eating them after that, but I was like, that's too bad. Like, they're really good.
I had liver and onions one time as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
And they fed it to me at supper. And I didn't eat it. I was like, nope, I don't like it. And then I woke up in the morning and that's what was for breakfast. Was liver and onions. And I was like,
that's a pretty harsh one to make a kid
I was like,
through.
come on, Mom. And then so I ended up eating part of it. And I was like, listen, this isn't that I'm defiant. It's like, this is awful.
Most adults don't like this either, Mom.
I hate this. And so I'll eat it now.
I actually don't.
But
I never minded it.
we must have cooked the livid shit out of it all the time. It was always so hard. And then the first time I ever had it cooked medium rare, I was like, that's the answer. I can eat that now.
Yeah.
It's just like when it was so cooked, it's dry and dries your whole mouth out. It's like eating 11 Ritz crackers at one time. It's just like
funny. Okay,
What
so
were we
wrong
talking
fasteners.
about?
Well, the fasteners. And then if you're going to use the deck ones, use the coated deck ones or
Oh, yeah.
stainless. So if you're in a coastal region, you'll be required to use stainless, and don't dodge that either. Like at the end, you're only screwing yourself. Oh, that's a great pun.
well done.
Holy smokes.
Dad jokes for days.
Yeah, you even galvanized fasteners in coastal regions where you're going to have the effects of sea spray will not hold up over time. So just follow what you're supposed to do. You're not saving a whole bunch of money. I know screws and fasteners can seem expensive sometimes, but there's reasons there's different types of them that exist, and there's reasons that they're in the building code for you to use certain ones in certain applications. It's not because somebody's trying to con you into spending more money.
Yeah.
Like, it's an important safety feature of the deck, and it's going to help you not
The other
have
one
to
that
worry about fixing it later.
we don't talk about this often, and I think we should, is that when you're fastening railing down to a deck, you should really, really pay attention to those ones. Just because you want to make sure that you use a screw that doesn't corrode, that doesn't rot out, right?
That's also
You're going to mix the aluminums and you should have a bit of a break between your post and your treated lumber.
yeah. A lot of people don't realize that that's actually built into the aluminum railing posts. Sometimes it's just painted on the bottom.
Yep.
That's the break. But you put aluminum up against the copper in your treated lumber, and that can cause a reaction.
Absolutely.
Excuse me. Some brands like Fortress will put like a plastic like gasket underneath.
Yep.
It's already on the post. You don't even think about it, but it's there.
Yeah.
But that brought up a good memory or point for me. Remember years ago we took some Regal training, and one of their biggest things was we just found out that people have been using the leg screws to fasten our post down into the decking. Just so you're aware, those are not the right fasteners.
Yeah, the ones they were meant to fasten the wall bracket to a wall.
Right. They're like a 1/4 inch little leg bolt, 2.5 inches long.
Yeah.
And they're coated, they're painted to match like in the colors of the railing.
Aren't they like their code is what? RSCP-24, right? Regal.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so people were using these because it was like, then they didn't have to get the base covers because these leg screws were painted the same color as the posts.
Yeah, yeah.
Look all right. They're using them, but it's like it's only going through that 1/4 inch plate, inch of decking, and so it's only getting an inch and 1/4 bite into the framing, and they're not a very big diameter screw to begin with. And so anyways, they're like, please stop using those. Those are not the right screws for that. These are actually for this other application, these wall brackets.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyways, nothing is more dangerous than a unsafe rail.
Correct. Which brings us to number 4, the Ledger of Doom. I need an echo thing. Do we have an echo button?
I don't think so.
We have this one. Not quite a echo button, but it'll work. It was fun. Bolting. Well, that's not even the ledger attachment to the house. Regardless of what we're going into, is a common area where it's just not properly fastened. Sometimes you've got expansive wedge anchors into brick, which that doesn't work.
Ever.
You got nails holding up your ledger board. That doesn't work. You have
Interior, smooth shank, non-galvanized.
righties.
Yeah.
Or you've got deck screws screwing that ledger on.
Yep.
Or you've got whatever they had.
Not a drywall screw. They're too short.
Too short.
They know that.
No, let's just bury it. So That's a major issue. And we've talked about this lots before, that a pretty common scenario in this part of the world is home builders that will put the ledger board on at the time the house is being built with no intention of building the deck. They don't build the decks in here very often, but they'll put the ledger board up because they know a deck will be going there. And their concern is, we need to get the building wrapped up and the siding finished. So they'll put the ledger board on, throw the flashing up, side the house, complete the envelope, sell the house. Owner is responsible for
way
the
faster
deck.
to say it like that.
The homeowner is responsible for the deck part. The homeowner doesn't know, though, that the ledger wasn't put on there properly. They didn't realize that
Why
it was
would they
just
think
tacked up there.
Why would they think it would be on there incorrectly? Like,
It's essentially
the windows were installed properly,
Yeah,
and they're in the house.
everything else should be done and properly.
The whole
Fixed and
house is
ready.
done properly, and so it's not silly to think that they would think that ledger should be done correctly.
Yeah.
It for sure. I'd bet everything that there's no blocking behind that.
Yeah.
They didn't. Anyways,
And I just wish they would, because,
I wish they'd leave it off.
well, either leave it off or put it on properly.
I want them
That's
to
not
leave
too
it
much to
off.
ask, is it? Because it's super easy to know where the bolts need to go when you're doing it at that stage before everything else is closed up and the basement's finished and everything else. Like,
Yeah,
just
it's
do
not
it when
insulated.
you can. Right. It's like you could, and take the extra, it's going to cost you an extra $4 and like 20 minutes of time just to bolt that ledger board on and knowing that it's done properly. But anyways, it's commonly not. Or like we just said, sometimes people bolt into brick, and brick is not structural. 95% of the time it's not structural. And even if it is, wedge anchors in brick is not good. They're not strong enough to have a bolt expanding and applying that pressure on them. They'll break. But often they're just a facade with an air gap behind it.
It's
And it's
a
just like,
veneer.
it's
It's like,
just a,
Well, I fastened my ledger to my vinyl siding. What?
Yeah.
Don't do
Yeah.
that.
So there are connectors. There's some places that do allow you to bolt through the brick into whatever's behind it using big 5/8 bolts or threaded rods, whatever. They'll let you do that.
Sure.
And there's also some connectors like the BVLZ from BVLZ, is that what it was?
Brick Veneer Ledger
Connector, BVLC-Z from Simpson.
Mhm.
That's intended for this. It's a wacky little looking bracket, but it's engineered to properly connect to what's behind the brick and not stress the brick.
Yep.
So there's ways to do it, or float the deck, or just don't attach the ledger and float it. And
Yeah.
like whatever.
It's
But
fine.
anyways, the ledger is a real safety issue if not done properly. And then the second part of that is you get it connected properly, it's all fine. But if it's not flashed properly and you don't have the proper water management happening around the ledger, even a properly attached one can have a shortened life because of water damage. And the unfortunate part of that is it wrecks, like it's a safety issue for the deck. It can fail if it's rotting,
Yes.
but often it's also rotting your house at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
So by the time your deck board's rotten, probably the band board in your house is also rotten, and the sheathing is rotten, and your door might be all buggered up now, and like there's all sorts of things. That
Like,
can
there's
start
a good
to
chance
sill plate might be buggered.
Yeah. Some of the joists, like some of your floor joists, the ends of those they may be wrecked.
Yeah.
It's like, ew.
Water finds its way in and makes its way around. So the ledger of doom. So make sure that that's connected and flashed properly. Or else. Number 5, the disappearing permit. A lot of these issues that we just talked about could be avoided if you just do a permit, because then there would be a check and balance before you even start billing to make sure that what you're about to do is okay. For example, you wouldn't get away with not doing footings in a place that required footings.
Right.
You wouldn't get away with doing 24 inches on center on decking that requires 16 in a place that has proper checks and balances in the permit process.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get away with using improper screws. You might get away with that one. But
Plywood-
not in your connectors.
You wouldn't be allowed to do a plywood joist that turns into a stringer. I can
Yeah.
tell you that.
You certainly wouldn't be able to attach a ledger improperly. And this is all assuming that the place that you're getting the permit from does proper inspections. I don't know that that's the
They're
case
getting
everywhere, but and so these things could be caught before they become an issue. You send your plan in, and it's like not using any footings. They will call that out right then and be like, "You have to."
Right.
Your deck it's a 2nd-story deck with a sunroom on it.
Yep.
You're doing footings.
Yep.
I'm going 36 in a center. You're not actually doing that, and so they'll help you to catch some things before you screw yourself.
Yeah.
So that permit is important. Not only that, but and this is one where this is a pretty common one when people think it's big pharma that's behind this, that there's like some other means to this, that it's like they're just trying to jack my taxes, they're just trying to make money. It's none of their damn business. And that's fine. There's probably some valid arguments to that, but at the end of the day, this can cause you more headache than it's worth for you to try to dodge it. For example, you go to sell your home and the new homeowner wants to make sure everything was built properly and has permits that they don't run into the issues with having to tear the deck off or something. Now it's your problem. Now you're hoping for a quick and easy sale. Turns out your deck wasn't built properly. So you rush out and you're like, oh, you're in a forgiving market where they're like, fine, just get one then.
Yeah.
You apply for it, find out that you built it too large for what your zoning allows, or you built it over an easement, or you did something like that. That would have been caught at permit stage for sure. And now you have to tear the deck off, or the home purchase falls through because your deck is illegal. Like, all because you were trying to save the $150.
The scariest one for me is never ever that the dimension's wrong or that the piles are wrong. The scariest one is always the zoning issue, that you've built it somewhere that you're not allowed to. Because it's like, you don't get to just correct that. You have to change your deck.
Yep.
Almost always.
And sometimes the rules change. The codes get updated every few years and things can change.
Yeah.
For example, I know a guy who built a deck 16 feet wide. At that time, triple 2x10 could span whatever it was. But you could span that beam 12 feet between the posts.
11'6" or whatever.
So this guy did 2 posts under his beam. He was going to get the permit later. By the time he goes to get the permit,
now that's
8 feet. Been reduced to 8 feet.
Yeah.
Now,
One more.
need a pile in the middle of the deck. Can't get there. Can't put the same pile that the other 2 ones are. Could do some sort of
slab
arguable fix to get you through the process. But anyway, so there's that risk as well.
Is his deck, does it have cottage decking on it?
I think it
Century aluminum rail.
may have been those ones.
Near Vedette.
Put on with 2.5-inch legs. Yeah. So anyways, that's kind of 5 common areas where homeowners just maybe don't know quite enough about what they're doing.
Want to know what I heard the other day? That blows my mind. This is a story that I have heard, and I don't know this to be exactly true, but it was at one point. Home builders don't apply for deck permits because when they were applying for them with the city, it would be an additional $1,000 for the deck permit. So you get the permit for a house and it would be whatever it was, $2,000. And then you'd try to get the permit for the deck and it would be $1,000. And then you get the permit to do the basements, another $1,000. This is in Regina. But if a homeowner goes to get that deck permit after, it's $100. And so, right. And so I was like, is that for real? And the person was like, absolutely. Like when we used to fill out applications and send them in, the city would charge us an additional $1,000 for a deck permit. So we quit applying for deck permits as a home builder. They just stopped doing it. And then I was like, that's so backwards. Like if you're the city, it should be $100 for the home builder to do it and $1,000 for the homeowner to do it. Because you already have the plans and you're already reviewing the zoning and you're already
doing
in
multiple inspections anyway and so on and so forth. Yeah. It doesn't make much sense.
I hate bureaucracy. Because
if you want something done,
like she said, she was like, I mentioned it to the city and they were like, sorry, that's just how it is. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't the city then take that back to the, anyways, I would never apply for a permit if I was a home builder.
Scary things. Yeah.
Right.
Make it make sense. Right. Make it make sense.
Right. Get out of the way. Remove the red tape.
I don't understand the thinking sometimes, but anyways, now you're a little bit more of a smarter builder. So take that for what it's worth. Happy Halloween, everybody.